importing lines from a spreadsheet. Again, I wanted to highlight this one, especially on conversations I've had with a lot of people, some of you on the call today. And this is, how can we speed up processes in the system? How can I create multiple contracts a day? The business is growing, we're scaling with that growth. We need to be more nimble in how we're processing in orders and contracts. So the importing lines from a spreadsheet feature is designed to do just that. It is a really quick way to enter lines into the system, into an order. And if I navigate out of my presentation here, and we can go to let's go to our control center. In fact, let's go back to the main launcher. I'm actually going to demonstrate this in real time here and show you exactly what I mean. So I'll give you the example and the reason why this feature has been developed and added into the solution. We have multiple customers that create contracts which are multiple lines. So they're not single line orders, they're multiple line orders. And some of those lines can be in excess of 100. They could be 300. We've had some customers that have put 500 lines on a contract. And this will work for rental contracts, sales contracts. There isn't a definitive cutoff in terms of the transactions which you can use this feature for. So when you navigate through to, and I'm using in this example a sales contract, I've got a blank open panel screen here. This is where we start to enter our lines in to build up the building blocks of our contract or our order. And if I'm sitting on a quote here and there's 300 lines, if I'm entering them in manually, it's going to take me about 30 seconds a line to enter those in by the time I've put the quantity, the rate, the day, and some other pertinent information that the business would like to track. It's going to take me a long time to create this order. You know, we could be talking 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, depending on the size of that order. So at the top of the widget bar, here you can see the nice turquoise button that says add lines to the current document from an external source. And this is so simple to use, and the formatting is really simple as well. So from a spreadsheet, any spreadsheet, all you need to do is enter in an item code, a quantity, and a price. Okay, there is also another option to add an item code, a quantity, a required date, a shipping date, and a price. And we've improved this feature recently to include any customers that are using line level dates. So this feature will now work with anyone that's working with or without line level date information. So the expected formatting for this is item, quantity, required date, shipping date, and price. The item code, the quantity, and the required date are mandatory fields. So you will need to, for this to work, you would need to have those three pieces of information on your spreadsheet. The shipping date is optional, as I mentioned, and if you don't provide the shipping date, the system uses the required date. So you do have to put a required date on an order. Every time the system will always ask you for that. So it will just pull the information through and use that from a logical standpoint. The price is optional. If you don't provide the price, that's okay. The system uses the current system price. If you add the price in on the spreadsheet, the system will pick that price up and use that as an override. And then I'll show you in a moment how we can override that with a reason code. So if you don't submit the price, it will default to the specific price list that you have applied to your specific project vendor, whichever transaction type you're using. But if you do supply the price, then you must also supply the shipping date as well. So I will just demonstrate how we do that, and this is really simple. So this is just some test data that I've added into my demonstration system, and all I've done, highlighted the data set that I want to copy, done a right-click copy. If you're whiz on spreadsheets, Control C, and then if I navigate back to my my document, Here we go. And I hit the import lines feature. If I'm overriding the price, then I can pick from a drop-down selector. And again, those reason codes are customizable, so you can make them whatever you want to make them. I'm just going to say my manager's approved this. And then I'm going to hit the import button. So what the system's doing here is it's actually reading from my local clipboard. So as soon as I copy that data to the clipboard from the spreadsheet, my computers and my RentalResult equipped flows system is going to read that, and it's going to validate those lines on this screen. So you can see there it's validated the item codes, it's validated the quantity, the required date, the shipping date, and the price, and it hasn't returned any problems. So it's said, okay, my current status is ready. So all I need to do at that point is hit the process button. And you can see in the background, if I just move this screen down a little bit, those lines are now automatically importing from that spreadsheet. So we've just taken probably a contract that may take 10 to 15 minutes to complete, maybe a bit longer, depends on how fast everyone is on the keyboard, and we've taken that down to just seconds. So this is one of those features that I don't think is currently being utilized a lot out in the field. And I'd certainly love to talk to anybody a bit more about this and how we can implement this in your businesses to make your lives a lot easier. I know it's not easy to know what is going to be required or requested. So some of the examples are, if we know we're buying bulk equipment from vendors and we use this as a sales order or a purchase order, we can have the conversations with the vendors up front. We get a quote. We can use a template for those quotes to come in and then import those from there. Other conversations we've had where this is actually being used is around project startups, where there is a predefined set of project startup equipment. And these could be stock, bulk, or e-coded items. And you can add them onto that spreadsheet and import those in. So we can actually, the mobilization of new projects could actually be sped up in terms of the contract creation through the use of this feature.
Hey, Jimmy, we actually have a question that came in from Tahani. She asked, is the import line from Spreadsheet only available in Core, or is it available for users in Portal?
Yep, that's a great question. So this is a feature currently that has been developed and implemented in Core. I like the idea of being able to upload a spreadsheet from the job site portal. So, that's something we can talk about in an upcoming CSM call or offline around gathering some more information and some more requirements about, would you want it to work the same as you see in here in Core, and just some of the nuances around how you can manage that. But yeah, great question. Fantastic.